Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 166. And if you missed last week's vlog, we had the ultimate viewer Q&A part 1. This is viewer Q&A part 2. And like I promised in last vlog, I'm not going to mess around talking. I'm going to get to your incredible business questions. Antonio Esparza has a very technical, interesting question that I am totally not qualified to answer, but I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. He says, what is your opinion of having a holding company to run other businesses? What is your opinion of an LLC versus an SCorp or CCorp? What is your preferred structure for a business as an entrepreneur? So the first thing you need to know, an LLC is different than an SCorp and a CCorp. SCorp and CCorp are basically the way that you are choosing to be taxed as an entity. When you form your business, you basically have to pick, how you're going to be taxed. Whether or not you are a sole proprietorship, a partnership, an S-Corp, a C-Corp, and there might be something else. So for me, if it's like just me and it's my business, I'm going to set up an LLC. I'm going to be a sole member LLC that is going to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. It's complex. What I recommend is doing some research, talking to an accountant. That's going to be your best bet. If you've got investors, if you've got partners, it really depends on how your business is set up, what you're going to be doing, or actually, it's less about what you're going to be doing and more about how you're going to operate. But you definitely don't want to just like start a business without having any type of corporate structure in place, because the corporate structure and the reason why a lot of people start an LLC is because there is some legal protection. It separates its owner from the entity. Bear Strength is an interesting question because it's about wine. He says, I'm 17 and have a part-time job right now. I make about $400 every 2 weeks. I went to meet my girlfriend's grandparents about 2 weeks ago, and her granddad owns his own winery attached to his house. I fell in love with this idea, and I was just wanting to know what you believe I should do to be able to get on this path given what I make now. This is so cool. Owning a vineyard, owning a winery, this is something that is very, very cool in my opinion. I don't know anything about the business other than the fact that I like wine, but I can see how it would be alluring and very sort of exciting. What I'd recommend is, at this point, you're 17 years old, and so you're getting ready to have to, not have to, but make some decisions, make some choices. I don't know where you live. Depending on where you live, if you live in some area where there are wineries around, I would probably sort of maybe think about going and doing internships or seeing if they're hiring, and maybe, one day a month or one day a quarter or whatever it is, you go and sort of get your hands dirty, so to speak. You might want to start by talking to her grandfather and sort of pick his brain and talk to him a little bit more, but just start doing your research. At this point, it's about research. If you're looking for sort of like an idea of like what to do in terms of college or education post high school, I don't know. I don't know what's out there in terms of schooling or educations, or I have no idea on how it works. But if you're looking for a solid, okay, if I've got to make a decision on what to go into, I would probably say go business as a major, maybe, minor in marketing, if that has to be chosen now, which I don't think it does. But, you can always fall back on a business degree if you want to go into pretty much anything, because the skills that you're going to learn as a business student, it's going to be things like accounting, marketing, finance, things of that nature. It will pay off in whatever you do, regardless of if you start a winery or a shoe store. Julius G has a question about Tiege finances. Hey Aaron, how does Tiege distribute their spending? Which I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about in terms of spending, if you're talking about profits or what, but we'll sort of get into that a little bit, I think, in this question. What does it depend their money on, and how does it correlate with sales? Also, how has that changed since Tiege was founded? Love your content and keep up the great work in all aspects of life. Tiege is awesome, LOL. Thanks, brother. So, how does Tiege distribute spending? So, Tiege Hanley has done a really good job with keeping our overhead and our expenses fairly low. We have not raised money, which is when we tell and when we talk to other people in our industry, or even if it's not skincare, but just like online sales and subscription services, when we talk to them about what we've done and what we do in terms of our numbers and the fact that we have not needed to go out and secure investment capital, we're kind of like a magic unicorn. We are rare in the sense that we have been able to scale our business to where it is right now without needing to go out and raise money. And the reason for that is because we don't spend money we don't have. The other reason for that is that our marketing is, in the beginning, was primarily me, and the cost of marketing was very low for a incredible, amazing return. And so that's part of it. But the other part of it is that we've only grown as we've sort of had money to grow. And so as we grow, what we do as owners is, instead of us, Rob, Kelly, and I, and the chemist, taking like big fat distributions, we put it back into hiring. We truly feel that hiring at Tiege Hanley is the #1 most important thing that we need to focus on at a base company level, other than, of course, making amazing products, keeping you happy, having incredible customer service, and that kind of ties back into what we spend our money on. We spend our money on people that can make your experience better, also make our company better. And so it's much more valuable for us to have, say we have $100,000, to hire somebody who is like an A player in a certain area or aspect that we need somebody incredibly competent with in our business, as opposed to Rob, Kelly, the chemist, and I each taking 25 grand or whatever it would be. And so we spend on our people, we spend on making sure that our space is super cool, we're growing, we're expanding, we got to make sure that our employees and our team members love coming to work. And so it's got to be super cool. So where, we spend a little bit of money, Kelly, has like all sorts of like cool artwork, and the space is amazing, which you will see next week, because the vlog will be shot live, not live, kind of live, you know what I'm saying, from Chicago, quarterly meeting. And then at the end of the year, we also, have a lot of inventory. We have a lot of, capital requirements. And so we always need to keep a chunk of cash in the bank, because we've got expenses that are, that are big expenses. And when it comes to like ordering inventory, ordering packaging, the bigger Tiege Hanley gets, the more complex it gets, and the bigger requirement that the larger the financial requirement is to keep it moving, so that people don't, miss out on their orders, or we don't ever have an issue where we can't provide our customers the skincare system that they're expecting or that they need. Sorry, glasses. But that being said, in terms of salaries, myself, Rob, and Kelly, we do take a small salary. It's not like big by any stretch of the imagination. And then at the end of the year, if there's money left over, we keep X number of dollars in the company, and then we do take, at least last year, we took a small distribution. Say there's $100,000 left. We'll say, okay, let's earmark 100 grand and let's distribute this. The cool thing is that we've paid taxes throughout the year, quarterly estimated distribution, or quarterly estimated tax payments. The company pays that. So at the end of the year, when it's time to take a distribution, small distribution, we will take that. That being said, one of the things that we do is we think forward in terms of like marketing, right? Because marketing, the only way that we're really going to be able to scale Tiege Hanley is by spending, a substantial amount on marketing, but it's always based on a percentage. And we sort of have committed to, hey, if we have, this in sales, this percentage we are going to allocate to marketing, or to X, or to Y. And so as we grow, that number, that percentage of our sales, it goes up. And so, this year we're going to spend a ton of money on marketing, more than last year, because our sales have grown, our revenue has grown, and so therefore that percentage needs to stay, in our mind, consistent in order for us to grow. I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's a little inside info on how we run the finances here at Tiege. Great business question by our friend Slobodan Jankovic. Sorry, I suck at names. Just like everyone else, you will turn old. The feel good comment of the year. Yes, I will. Despite you taking really good care of yourself, I do use Tiege Hanley, so that gives me a little unfair competitive anti-aging advantage, if I'm being honest. You said it yourself, that your audience is younger, and I can imagine younger people listening to not wanting to listen to a 50 or 60-year-old guy talking to them about some topics. Hold on, he goes on. You currently talk about. You're still the best, but younger guys are getting better every day and they grow quickly. This is absolutely true. Nipping at my heels. Do you plan to adjusting topics on your videos over time, or you plan on stop filming YouTube videos and turn to your other businesses or film completely different videos? I think you're great and I love watching your videos. Thank you so much. So this is an amazing question and one that I think about, honestly. The good news is that as I age, my audience will age as well, to some degree. And so, you know, I routinely am talking to people that started watching me when they were 18 and they're now like, you know, 28. And so they have aged a little bit with me. And so I feel personally that my content will evolve. As I evolve, I will be, you know, dealing with different things. But one other beautiful thing about getting older is that I have been there, got the t-shirt. And so I have learned a lot of things along the way, and sharing wisdom and sharing information to a younger generation, I think will always be valuable. And so as long as I can stay relevant, I'm going to continue to do YouTube videos. Will they change? Probably. They have to, right? And so I'm going to try to evolve. But in terms of there being a day where I just say, nah, I'm done with this, I can't see that happening, because I just love it so much and it fuels my soul. And the reason I got into doing videos 11 years ago is that I just love giving back and I love helping in whatever way I can. And so I don't think that's ever going to change, but who knows? I'm reserving the right to change my mind and opinion, but I know that at some point nobody wants to listen to a 60-year-old dude talking about powdering his balls. Sam has a very vague question. He says, hey, one important question. What are the different options when it comes to making money online? This is like, there's a zillion different ways of making money online, none of which are easy. And I think that's one of the things I would like to, you know, sort of leave you with here is that, you know, there are a lot of different options in terms of making money online. The internet has changed the game in terms of entrepreneurship. It's never been easier. It's never been more accessible. You don't need a ton of money in order to start a business or start selling something online. If you've got a product, it could be an e-product, like an info product that a lot of guys are selling. It could be advice. If you've got some type of information, or you've got a skill, or you've got something that you feel other people might be interested in or find valuable, you can create an e-product and sell it. It doesn't really cost any money other than your time. If you've got an internet connection and a computer, or even like a cell phone, you can start a business nowadays. Now, you can also do things like sell Tiege Hanley, but that's much different. It's a whole nother animal. You can sell physical products. You can sell electronic products. You can have a membership website where you gain access, or you sell basically access to content or information that other people want. What other ways are there making money online? Being a YouTuber, right? Free content, just putting content out there and making ad revenue off of the YouTube video views. Now, the one thing you need to understand about YouTube is that you need to get a ton of views in order to really make a good amount of money. It's a hard game, right? But the beautiful thing about YouTube now, as opposed to when I started 11 years ago, is that I truly feel it's never been easier to grow on YouTube. It's also never been more, you know, sort of easy to figure out how to grow. You know, in the old days when I started, we had no idea. There was no idea or comprehension of the fact that you can actually make a living, or you can make any money, let alone like a penny, making videos. You did it because you loved it. You did it because you wanted to help. You did it because you had something to share and you felt like there were going to be people out there that were going to resonate with your message. And I think that's That's the thing that is so lost on today's society when it comes to YouTube, is that people start YouTube channels almost with the idea that, hey, I can get rich off of this. And that is the wrong message. It's the wrong mentality. That's the wrong way to sort of get into it, to be honest. I feel like the people that are going into making content because you just love making content, you love people, you love helping, you've got something cool you want to do, you want to share, those are the people that are ultimately going to be successful. Because even though I say it's never been easier to start a YouTube channel or to get people to follow, because YouTube's doing a really good job of recommending different people and trying to grow smaller creators. The other thing you can do is you can hack the system. When I started, I was the first person talking about manscaping, the first person talking about style or grooming or any of these issues. It was back in 2008. And so, you know, I had to kind of just guess. And if I found it interesting, I'd put out a video. And if people liked it, I'd make another video. Nowadays, excuse me, hang on a second, I'm all fired up about YouTube. Nowadays, it's easier because you can look to see what other successful YouTubers have done in terms of content, and you can basically just copy that content and say, you know, if I did a video, you know, 6 ways to style your hair, you know, parted on your left, and you saw 1 million people looked at it, you're like, oh, I'm going to do my version of 6 ways to style my hair parted to the left. And so it's never been easier to sort of identify what's been successful and do your version. That's why YouTubers have it easier now than when we started. The OGs, you know, Antonio, it was him next, and then Jose, and then some other guys. You know, we've done this for a long time, and that's the other thing that's interesting. You know, I think that one thing that is lost on, you know, the younger YouTubers of today is that, you know, people that are successful now, myself, you know, Jose, Antonio, or any space really, you know, I think it's lost a little bit when you see like, oh, you're getting a lot of sponsorships, or you're being successful. It's lost that for the first 6 years, literally 6 years, I made content, didn't make any money, like no money, 6 years. It's not because I didn't want money and I didn't like money. It was because it wasn't even an option. You didn't do YouTube because of the money. And so, you know, the fact that I have over the course of the past like 3-4 years have really been able to sort of, you know, identify like, okay, I can do things. And my audience, I've given so much content over the years, and my advice has been taken to heart and has helped people. You know, they trust me. And that's one of the reasons why you've got to be so disciplined when it comes to promoting products or selling products. If your product isn't amazing, don't sell it. If you don't believe in a product 100%, don't pitch it. And so I'm in a beautiful position now where I feel like I have worked my nuts off in order to get where I am today. You know, I've got, you know, multiple successful businesses, not all, but the majority of which were founded here on this platform. And, you know, it's changed my life in a way that you can't imagine. And it's not just about finances. That's like I said last week in that vlog, it's not about the money. It will never be about the money. When it starts becoming about the money as opposed to doing something that you love and just because you're passionate, you will lose. Entrepreneurs don't do it for the money. They do it because it's something that they want to achieve. It's something that's burning super deep inside of them that they just have to get out. And the only way they can do that, the only way they can basically satisfy their itch is to try a business and to start a business and to figure out how to grow, how to make money at it, how to do it for a living, how to be successful, how to get other people to try. Like, it's this puzzle that you will never figure out. It's sort of like golf, right? You can get better at golf, but you will never shoot a perfect golf game ever. Like, you can be under par, but you know, it's something where you're always constantly trying to get better, and different situations, different greens will have different struggles that you've got to overcome and figure out how to play it. And eventually you'll get better, but you will never hit the perfect game ever. It just doesn't happen. And you know, and so I've just been very fortunate to be in a position where I am. I've worked my nuts off, like I said, to be here, and it feels amazing. And so, you know, when I see people, you know, hating on, you know, me or Jose or whatever it is, it's like, you know, I expect it because, you know, typically it's people that are not as talented as us or don't understand what actually goes into what they see now. And they weren't around 6 years ago. You know, they weren't around to see the struggle, the fact that, you know, there was just video after video after video. That was never it was just because, hey, here it is. I want to give you something. And people will never understand that haven't been there. But entrepreneurship is a beautiful thing. And so in terms of making money online, you honestly have no excuse these days, in my opinion. If you want it, you can have it. You just got to be smart enough. You've got to identify a business that you are passionate about, that other people want, and then you've got to be willing to do the hard work, because that's the other thing. It is hard work. The other thing that I'm super proud of myself and my fellow OG content creators, we have never, not one time, took shots at other people and tried to build ourselves up by tearing other people down. And that's the reason why we started the Menfluential Conference. The reason why Antonio and I have worked so incredibly hard to build a community. In all of these other sort of facets of YouTube, you see all this hate, all this negativity, all this toxic energy. And we said, no, there's no reason for that. There's no need for that. We can lift each other up. And it's about positive. It's about spreading a word. It's about just trying to be a value, be a help to, you know, to the world and to our community. And so, you know, if you're successful, you're going to have people that come after you, period. But you know what it does? It just reinstills the fact that you've done a good job. You've done something right that people are jealous of or want to copy or whatever it is. And at the end of the day, the thing that makes me feel good is that when I get criticized, when I get hate, certain people will just like run and hide and not do anything about it. What it does for me is it reinstills the fact that I've done something well. You know what else it does? It fuels me. It makes me go, oh yeah? You want to say something bad? You want to come after me? No problem. Watch how hard I work now to continue to kick your ass even harder. It's that with YouTube, it's that with business, it's that with life. You can either regress into your shell or you can go at it and punch people in the mouth, figuratively, not literally, and the way that you're going to do that is you're going to be successful. Gentlemen, I don't know if that answered your business question, but I felt it was important to let you guys know that you are in 100% control of your destiny, how you choose to handle situations, and you can let the negativity get to you, or you can punch it in the face, metaphorically speaking, and work that much harder. And that is what Tiege Hanley is going to continue to do to our competition. We're going to punch them in the face because we're smarter, we work harder, and nobody is going to push us around. Guys, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes. And next week, I will see you in Chicago.